Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another post-fight analysis video for Sam Hughes versus Vanessa Demopolous. This fight took place last Friday. It was for the inaugural strawweight championship at LFA 85. And as you know, Vanessa Demopolous, she was able to become the first women's strawweight champion for LFA. She scored a win by fourth round submission via reverse triangle choke, and this came after a very, very solid competitive performance from Sammy Hughes. The one thing I'll say is the one thing that always comes up, in every MMA fight is it's never over till it's over. And this fight was no exception. Sammy was in a good position in this fight, showcasing her skills well. She was well ahead on the cards, but Vanessa, man, it's like, wow, man, this girl is just like really, really mentally tough. And this is why mental toughness is really important to develop. Of course, you see a lot of fighters online working on physical drills, different things like that. You see them working on physical strength, working on jabs, working on balance. But mental toughness is also something that you have to develop. Mental toughness is going to make that determination and that goal seem much more reachable. No matter how high the mountain is, you'll keep wanting to climb. No matter how much blood you lost, no matter how many rounds you are behind, that mental toughness is going to keep you in the fight for the long haul. And when I say for the long haul, I don't mean not just surviving a fight, not just going through the motions and just trying to last and go the distance. No, I mean mental toughness. If it's there, it's going to keep you always looking for a way to win. And Vanessa Demopolous, she showed that toughness Friday. Going into that fight, I felt like Sammy, she was definitely the superior striker. She definitely had the skills. She showcased it for a good 4 rounds. And I felt like she was going to pull out the win. After seeing the Loveth Young versus Vanessa fight, I felt like a striker with hands like Sammy was definitely going to set the pace and be able to either stop Vanessa or, go to the distance and win a decision. But Vanessa, she stayed in this fight behind on the card. She was always looking for a way to win. She closed the distance a few times, landed her own strikes, but she just came away with a reverse triangle choke that nobody saw coming. And yeah, man, let's just go back and look at the fight real quick. Round 1, Sammy, she controlled the stand up, using some good solid leg kicks, using her jab to keep the range at times. Vanessa, she was checking the kick a few times, but Sammy, being the faster fighter, she was able to land it, step out of range, then go back upstairs with 1-2s and keep Vanessa on the outside. When Vanessa stepped in, Sammy was landing a good right hand as well. She did this a few times in the round, just kind of showcasing her counter skills. She would land it and then kind of slip out and go back to keeping the distance. And there was one point, though, that was kind of a telling point for Vanessa. Whenever she caught a leg kick from Sammy, Sammy moved quick and she locked into the clinch. And right there, you could kind of see Vanessa already trying to get that she was trying to get her grappling going. She was showcasing that strength difference on the inside. She was already trying for a guillotine choke and trying to lock Sammy up. But Sammy's IQ kept her from staying in there too long. She broke out of it, went back to controlling the round with her jabs, and landed a couple double right hands. Just all around good pressure in that first round for Sammy. Round 2, Vanessa, she opened with some good work in the pocket, some good right hands. And to me, that's where a slower fighter needs to be, against a faster fighter. You gotta go into the pocket, land a few shots to kind of slow the faster fighter down. But as soon as this happened, Sammy went back to the outside, found her range with the jab, and landed some good 1-2s to just move Vanessa back. Sammy getting into the clinch with some dirty boxing again. This kind of favored the strength of Vanessa. I felt like Vanessa was able to turn Sammy a few times and land some good knees and showcase her strength again. Sammy, being smart again, she broke out whenever she feel like she was getting a little bit of out strength. So moving to the side to side, just moving back, straight back. She proved she was a stronger boxer, just landed some good right hands and keeping her head off the line with the slip jab, backing Vanessa up. And Vanessa, there was a point where she fell on the mat to try to get a leg lock on Sammy, and she tries for a triangle. And again, you can see that strength and flexibility of Vanessa here. So anytime you see a fighter kind of moving around these positions, it's very dangerous. to stay in there longer than you need to, especially if you're a stand-up fighter. So Sammy, she was about to break out. As she was about to break out, Vanessa tagged her with an illegal up kick, and she lost a point. So for sure now Sammy was ahead on the scorecards, because that was probably like a 10-8 round. Round 3, Sammy opened up nicely with some striking again, man. Just looking to be dominant, backing Vanessa up with some good slip jabs again. Beautiful, beautiful right hand. And there was a few flurries that just backed Vanessa into the fence, and she was really getting busted up here in some moments. I mean, Vanessa was landing some shots here and there too, because she did some damage on Sammy. She did open up a little cut from her right hand, but I think the overall control from Sammy was better. You know, I think Sammy going into the clinch against Vanessa a couple times wasn't good, because I think the longer range punches were doing more damage, and she definitely had the speed advantage. And in the clinch, that gave Vanessa more of a chance to rest, at the same time strength with Sammy. And in the pocket, that's where she could land her right hand, like I said. But Sammy, being the faster fighter, could still land 2 or 3 shots and do her damage and be effective and then get out. You know, so overall, I think the third round, especially when the blood started to flow, went to Sammy. I think she was still controlling with the striking. Vanessa was definitely having her moments as Sammy slowed down, though. But in round 4, Vanessa, she came rushing in with a flurry. Sammy avoided most of those shots, and after that, she got into a clinch with Vanessa. Vanessa got the underhooks, and Vanessa was pressing Sammy to the fence. So Sammy, I thought, being smarter, would have pushed Vanessa off and just got out, but she slipped around and tried to get the back, and Vanessa was still holding on, being real flexible, and she just drops to the bottom position and looks comfortable. Right there, I was like, uh-oh. You know, she looked comfortable with her legs still free, while Sammy was just trying to get some ground and pound in. But all of a sudden, like, Vanessa her legs just shoot up, and they just shoot up around Sammy's neck and her like right arm, and it was almost looking like a claw or like a Venus flytrap just catching an insect. You know, she got her in this reverse triangle, and it was like a good 50 seconds here. Like, she was just locked up, and Sammy was trying to get out, you know, until they got into that laid posture after like 40 seconds. And the next 10 seconds, like, Sammy was still trying to struggle. Then you just see her go limp. Like, I mean, she was out. Like, she was on her knees in that position on top, but all of a sudden you just saw like her body just kind of like sprawl out, and she was out of there. And the referee didn't even have to look for a tap. He just jumped in there because she was unconscious. So yeah, that was a crazy finish for Vanessa Demopolous. I didn't see it coming. Sammy was hanging in there, putting on a good fight until she got into the ground. Until she got into that ground position with Vanessa, which was what Vanessa was looking for. So, like I said, it's never over till it's over. Vanessa got the finish. Very solid win for her. Shout out to Vanessa, you know, for just showing mental toughness and staying in the fight. But definitely shout out to Sammy, because she was putting on a very, very good performance, showcased some excellent striking, and stayed in the fight for as long as she could. And they both showed no quit. You know, they both showed no quit. It all came down to who was going to get the finish. Like I said, going into this one, I felt like Sammy could pull the decision out, but I didn't think this was going to go to a decision. But yeah, man, it was a good fight. Vanessa, she's the new LFA strawweight champion for the women. And from here, man, I honestly would like to see a rematch between these two. That's how good the fight was. You know, Sammy was far ahead on the scorecards, you know, just, you know, stayed in there a little bit too long or made a mistake. And she deserves a rematch. And, you know, unless Vanessa gets like a UFC deal or a contender series deal. But if she wants to stay around and defend her belt, I'd like to see a rematch with Sammy Hughes, man. That was a good fight. But yeah, man, you guys check this fight out. I saw it on the LFA card on the UFC Fight Pass app. That's where I watched it on last Friday. But yeah, man, I just wanted to go back and do a post-fight analysis for this video, because it was very, very solid performance, and it was definitely a case of it's not over till it's over. But yeah, man, that's all I got, guys. I'll be back with another video. Combo Breaker 99. Make sure y'all subscribe. I'm out. Peace.